Every freaking time, I think I've seen the best the Switch can offer, the best a game can look, the best a game can play on this tiny handheld system. Along came the wizards that are Panic Button. Somehow they managed to take both Doom and Wolfenstein 2 and cram them onto this system. And then they went ahead and pulled off what is probably the most incredible port I have seen to the Switch so far. A port so incredible it makes me look again at games like WWE and think, seriously, what did you do that was so wrong? And the best part about this incredible port is that it's free to play. Warframe is on the Switch. Remember when this game launched way back like 5 years ago. I know this game has come a long way since then. Huge solar system to explore with so many different planets, so many different kinds of missions, and even massive open world parts. I didn't know how this was going to go down. For a free-to-play game, wow, there is so much going on in Warframe. It is insanely expansive, even down to being able to go fishing. Like, it's not the game you might think it is if you haven't played it before. When I discovered I could go fishing, I think that was the point where it really started to come together that, oh, this game isn't what I expected. So I want to talk about all of the things I really like, all the cool parts of the game that I've discovered, but the point of this video is me being purely blown away by the fact it's even on Switch, so I want to give you some examples of why it amazes me so much first. For complete transparency, I do want to let you guys know that Warframe is graciously sponsoring this video, but between you guys and me, we all know I would have made this video anyway. A game looking this good that's free to play, of course we were going to end up here. Thankfully, and non-surprisingly, I ended up really loving the game, so this is a win-win-win, really. So as you can see, whether you're playing it docked or handheld mode, this game looks gorgeous. Whether you're in the, quite frankly, huge open world area, or the more linear mission areas, there is so much detail in the environment. And the gameplay is very fast. You will be sprinting through some of these areas at breakneck speeds, which is another reason it's so impressive this game manages to hold at a pretty steady 30 frames. But I think the point where I became truly mesmerized by what Panic Button has done here was there was one mission where I had to defend this object from waves and waves of enemies. And between me and the 3 other players that were there, as well as loads and loads of enemies pouring into one central location, all the special moves going off, all the attacks, all the lighting effects, all the explosions, and not once did I notice even a smidgen of slowdown. I expected it. I would have forgiven it. With the amount of stuff that was happening on my screen, I would have said, huh, it's the Switch. This is still pretty cool. But no, all of this. And there wasn't even a tiny bit of slowdown. WWE couldn't have 3 wrestlers in a match at the same time. And this game was doing all of this. And that was before I got to the open world area. And you can have that exact same situation happen on a huge, expansive open map. There's even a central hub town where you can go around and buy fishing gear or upgrades or get quests, and you get thrown in there with a bunch of other players too. I'm sorry, but I've seen so many games chug on the Switch, games that I still consider to run pretty well, chug at certain spots. But this is crazy. And honestly, for a game like this where it is so fast paced and every shot can matter in certain situations, you want it to run like this. So it's just so incredible to see it working. I mean, honestly, this open world area looks almost as good as Fallout 76. You can have just as many people running around it, and I'm sitting in my bed playing it handheld. All right, I'm gonna stop gushing about the way the game looks and plays. I think you get the point. Let's talk about the actual game, and beyond it playing well, why should you give Warframe a chance? And I did talk about briefly that central area where all the players meet up, and if you're looking for a massive multiplayer online game on your Switch, this game has its own inbuilt voice chat system, thank goodness. So if you have a headset with a mic plugged into it, even if you're in handheld mode and you walk around this town, you can talk to people, communicate with other players, form parties, form guilds, and then go out and do missions together. So what this game does is very successfully bring a massive multiplayer online game onto the Switch. And there really seems to be a focus on partying up and making friends. Beyond voice communication, the chat box you have doing missions together, you can also invite your friends to come aboard your ship, hang out, and check out all your cool new bobbleheads you put around the place. marketplace. Or maybe show them your aquarium full of fish that you caught yourself. Let's talk about the fishing. I clearly love it so much. Hey, Tuggy, come here. Come here, buddy. You always get so loud and noisy and needy when I'm filming. I don't know if you can hear them. They sleep all day, but as soon as I start filming, yelling, and getting all excited, they decide it's playtime. They feed off my energy, and they start running around the room. Don't you, bud? As soon as I start yelling, he's going to want to run away. He hates it. And speaking of fishing, what's up, buddy? So once you go to the marketplace, you meet a fisher guy, you can buy a spear, and then you can go out into that open world area and start throwing your spear at fish. And just like any other game that has fishing, and the reason why I love fishing in games so much, it really brings down the pace. And just for a moment in time, you're just fishing. And doing it in an online game where you have your friends with you and you're just talking about your day, talking about the game, what you want to do next while throwing a spear at some fish. I don't know, it's just relaxing. And all of those things I just talked about really goes to show the support and the love this game has had for the last 5 years. I downloaded this on my PlayStation 4. I checked it out and I had fun with it, but I moved on, just like I do with a lot of games. So diving back into it now and seeing all the developments and improvements from the last 5 years, it's crazy how far it's come. Back when it first launched, you only had a couple of warframes to choose from, a few guns. You couldn't do any of this inviting your friends to your ships. There was just a couple areas you could go to and complete some missions. Now it's a fully fleshed out space experience. It's really cool to see how far this game has come, and with all the updates and improvements it gets, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with it on the Switch version going forward. And I just mentioned the warframes, how you used to only have a couple. Well, now you have over 30. Also, what is a warframe? A warframe is essentially the suit you wear, kind of like Iron Man, and there's so many different ones to choose from, and each have their own crazy abilities. I thought just starting with the Volt Warframe and being able to do a shock of lightning was pretty cool until my friend joined the game. I don't even know what Warframe he had, but he was doing some kind of crazy AoE that had this huge area surrounding us and a blizzard, and everything that walked into it insta-died. And seeing the cool abilities like that get me really excited to progress in the game and unlock them for myself. And everything is upgradable or customizable. You can throw mods onto everything, and you can change the colors of everything. So just like in Iron Man, where he's choosing the colors of his suit, you can do the same thing. And if you think you'll run out of things to upgrade, you won't, because there's over 300 different kinds of weapons in the game. So far, I've gone through a bow, a spear, a katana, and I've settled right now on a sniper, but I'm looking to change again. I really want to go back to a bow, but I need one that's stronger than what I have. And the game is constantly surprising me with variation in the mission types too. It's not just start here, kill a bunch of enemies, get to the end of the level. Some levels are like that, and they're fun though because the combat is so engaging. But I'm even stumbling upon missions like stealth that remind me of Metal Gear Solid. I'm having to sneak around, take down enemies from behind, avoid cameras, sneak through vents, fall through a bunch of lasers, Mission Impossible style, trying not to set off any alarms. And by the way, in that mission, I was doing all of that because there was a random chance of a really cool suit drop. It didn't happen though, but I did get some good stuff. One thing I will say though is that this game is a lot to take in at first. And I am not trying to say it's bad game design or anything like that. It's just you can't have this many moving parts, this many unique features, just this many things to explore, do, and discover without quite a learning curve on the way, especially if you haven't played games like this before. I mean, heck, on the star map itself, there's 18 different unique worlds to explore, and I couldn't figure out how to get off Earth for the longest time. Fortunately though, the community is amazing. Everyone I've talked to in the game has not only been extremely responsive, but very willing to help out. The Warframe community does honestly seem like a bunch of great people. And on top of that, anyone I know that does play the game and has played it even before the Switch release have been more than happy to help me out. For those who watch the channel Spawn Wave, you might have seen Evan around that channel, like on the podcast they do every week. And even though he's max level, crazy, killing everything machine, he was more than happy to jump into my game and break things down for me. So if you start playing and you find yourself a little overwhelmed by all of it, reach out to the community around you because they'll probably help. There's also a ton of YouTube tutorials on this stuff. I mean, the game's been out for years. Huge shout out to Evan though, he really helped me. Shout out to his Twitter, everyone go and follow him to say thank you for me. And the craziest part in all of this, everything I've talked about so far and the stuff I haven't talked about, the stuff I haven't even discovered yet, the sheer amount of hours you can put into this game, and it's all free. And it honestly is. The game does not push you to buy anything, it doesn't encourage you to buy anything. They actually focus on making a balanced and great free-to-play experience experience. I have been playing this game for the last few days. I'm becoming somewhat addicted to it, and I haven't spent a dime, and I don't feel the need to do so. Everything you can buy in the game, you can also earn by playing the game. Obviously, straight up buying it is just a way of skipping either crafting it or trying to earn it yourself. That's just the nature of a free-to-play game. Of course, it's going to have things you can buy in the game. That's how the game makes its money and keeps on churning out more content. But the fact that this game is dedicated to making it fair no matter which way you choose to play, I think that's awesome. I am very impressed with the amount of content you are given for free in Warframe, as well as how fantastic it looks and plays on the Switch. Honestly, it's worth downloading this thing since it's free just to check out how great it looks. And trust me, you'll be blown away right from the start, but wait till you get a few hours in and you finally get to that open world area. Oh boy. Where is the limit? Where does it end? At this point, I have no idea what the Switch can do. I used to think I had a pretty good idea of what the Switch can handle, but things like this, I got no idea anymore. All I know is games like WWE look even worse now. Like, how did Troll and I run so badly when this is running so great? Well, guys, if you liked this video or you learned a little something, make sure you flip all over that subscribe button. Click or tap on this video right here because it was also about the Switch, and make sure to catch up on my gameplay channel. 2 new videos a day. If you didn't know about it, you've already missed like 15 uploads, so gets to catching up already. See ya.